Okay, I'm going to do a video on the ammunition crisis and shortages, and also junk ammo, which uh, kind of is another part of this. A lot of people are buying ammo at a more reasonable price than it has been in the past year and a half, but we're running into a lot of problems. So that's what I mean by junk ammo. All right, after doing a quick scan, and I use kind of like AmmoSeek, I have noticed that ammo prices are coming down. Like 9mm, they're down to 260 for 1,000 rounds, and it's mostly all foreign-made stuff. Okay, where it used to be 325 about 4 months ago. So it is dropping. And like I said, when I bought some of this stuff, um, you know, Max Tech and this Norma range and training. Anytime you see this range and training, you gotta kind of be leery of it. If the ammo isn't foreign made, like the Norma range and training, that's made in a plant down in Texas. But if you read the box, it says assembled in the U.S. and it may use some foreign components. The primer, powder, bullets, whatever. Brass, Norma's not. I don't know if Norma has an ammo factory here in the U.S. or not. So you will get these weird things. But a quick check on the internet for different calibers. And, 7.62 by 25 Tokarev. You can get some surplus stuff from 46 cents to 61 cents a round, and you get commercial ammo from about 80 anywhere to $1.50 a round. Which, even if you want to reload this buying new brass, reloading this stuff, if you can find the components, that's a whole other story. Okay, it's going to cost you just about as much as this. Another cartridge, at least for me, the 9mm Makarov. Now, I've seen recently, which when I checked about a month or so ago, this company wasn't there. There's a Meshko out of Poland, and I see some of it for 32 cents, 36 cents a round. And some foreign stuff, again, it's usually a foreign made one with brass cases, are 37 to 40 and up to 47 cents. It's under 50 cents. When I looked a few months ago, there wasn't nothing out there. It was under 50 cents. It was like 50, 60, 75 cents a round. Okay? So that's come down. 380 PCM, depending on who you buy it from, see, even if it's being listed for less a round, you still may pay shipping, sales tax, and that'll jack it up another 3-4 cents, but about 34 cents a round, okay, to say 40 something. Because that stuff too was almost 50 cents. I forget at the height what people were paying for stuff. Like even 25 auto was $50 a box of 50, $1 a round for 25 auto. 38 special is about 45 cents. Where when I checked 3 months ago for a friend of mine, 55 cents or something and more, depending on what you were getting, was the going rate. 38 special was pretty expensive. And this is factory ammo. I'm not going with the reloading, because if you look on that list, there'll be a bunch of these companies, LAX Ammo and that. These are some large corporations that make what's called remanufactured ammo. Okay, might not be anything wrong with it, but I'm going by brand name factory ammo as a gauge on this. And 45 ACP, you can get it down to around 36 cents a round or something, which that was all 60, 70, 80 cents a few months ago. Okay, and that is also PMC. I think that's out of Korea. So the prices are coming down. It looks good, okay, with the ammo. There are some calibers that are still highly expensive. Those of us who shoot mil surplus, there's a lot of people that may not ever own a 7.62 by 25 millimeter pistol, one of them communist block pistols. Or the 9 millimeter Makarov is not a very popular gun. Okay, there's a lot of them out there, there's a lot with collectors, but just in mainstream shooters, it's not a caliber you'll find as much as a demand for as, say, like 9 millimeter or even 38 special or 380 auto. Okay, these are a lot of guns out there, very popular calibers. I didn't do any rifles, so I didn't do the 5.56, but obviously I think from what I just glanced at it, you know, Lake City and all the other good quality stuff, it's all coming down, okay? Where it used to be, I forget, like a case of Lake City, when it was close to 3-something, 4, went up to 700-800 for 1,000 rounds, and I think that's kind of petering back down to that $400 mark for something, okay, better than 7.5. So we're seeing a reduction. Are we out of the woods yet? Is it going to get any better? I guess only time will tell, but probably towards middle of this year, we'll see things somewhat, I guess, in nowadays term, reasonable prices on stuff and availability. I'm still not finding on the low end of the list a lot of U.S. manufacturers, much like American Eagle. I'd see it sporadically, but not as often. And also, when the foreign-made stuff is at $260, the American Eagle will be a little over $3, like $320 for a case of 1,000. But I've had some of the ammo. That ammo functions flawlessly in all these guns that, you know, I had these issues with the other ammo. So that's another thing. You have to make the decision. You know, if you're only going to buy one case, wait until you can get the ammo you prefer. Okay, other than, you know, the cheapest stuff you can find. You never know. Going back to that, at one point in time, in the middle of this crisis, and this is when a box of 9 millimeter ball ammo was $60 or $80 a box, and people would limit you to like 3 or 2 or 1. A couple websites, Aim Surplus was one, but there are several. This ammunition shows up. Sterling was the name. 9 millimeter ammo, ball ammo, and it was in a 1,500 round case, not 1,000, but 1,500. Now I remember I seen this, and at the time, there was a lot of times this stuff would pop up and it'd be gone in 15, 20 minutes. Okay. And I was looking at it and it was like $700 for the 1,500 rounds. And that comes out to $23 a 50 round box, which at that time, in the middle of all this, that was a good deal. So I almost clicked on it, and then I said, you know what? Let me look around on forums and see if I can find out this Sterling ammo. I guess this stuff was made in Turkey somewhere. And when I went to some different forums like Glock Shooters or something like that, because when I searched for the ammo, I got all these different places that were discussing it. I went to these forums, and that's when I started seeing guys posting pictures. Glocks exploded, even Springfield Armory pistols, which are, these are good quality guns. These are not budget guns. Extractors tore out and all this stuff, and a lot of people had pretty decent expensive guns damaged with this ammo. And one guy took his barrel out and tried to just drop the cases in and then counted, because he bought one of these 15, and he come up with 40% of the rounds in the ammo he had left over wouldn't fit in his chamber. He's using his chamber as a ammo measuring guide. That's not like, 4 or 5 rounds out of 1,000 or something like that. That's 40%. That's a pretty high number of, and you got 1,500 rounds of it. Okay, so gotta beware, and you'll probably run into issues as we go along. Like I said, with these different calibers, the different 9mm ammo with the hard primers. All right, and a lot of it has to do with that supply chain fiasco, and the quality's been down. The whole manufacturing system globally for the past 2 years has been interrupted, and material, everything, raw materials and all that other stuff varies, and you'll find certain lots of stuff are problematic, where the same company, same brand, the next lot or group will have no problems whatsoever. So it's something to watch out for. But I am seeing a downturn. Unfortunately, it's not so much U.S. made ammo with U.S. made components. It's a lot of foreign ammunition with components that, can be problematic, is what it is. It's not so much your gun, it's the, quality control during all this crisis has been screwed up. So that's my take on the ammo, and, like I said, we'll see where it goes, because in the past 3 months of last year, I've seen a significant price drop. Now we'll wait till mid-year and see after 6 months, is this going to keep going on? Because if they're catching up with supply, which in the height of this crisis, when there were no ammunition or guns in the store, companies stopped taking back orders because they had back orders for 18 months, year and a half. And at that point, everyone said, you know what, we've just sold our production in advance for the next year and a half of any ammo, components, or whatever. So they stopped taking back orders at a point. Because I remember my friend that's a dealer told me that. He goes, I called and said, well, put it on back order. If it's 4 or 5 months, I'll wait. And they told him, we're not taking back orders anymore. So it looks like we're coming out of the woods, but it ain't going to be that easy. There's a lot of issues and problems going around. So that's my update on the situation.